And I'd like to begin by thanking my audience for sharing this evening with me, with us, on our journey to uplift ourselves and uplift the world. Because, there's a lot of upliftment and harmonizing that needs to be done, doesn't it? Isn't there? Things are getting pretty bad right now, and we need to fix it. And we need to know that we can fix it. And it begins with sharing truth. And on that note, I'm sure there are some people in the audience tonight that says, well, I know a lot about chakras. And I want to start off by saying that if you have been taught that there are only 7 chakras, then there's a lot that you need to learn. Because verifiable by research on the internet is the fact that there are 14, not 7 chakras. And the other 7 chakras are not minor chakras, as some people would like to dismiss the fact of the other 7 chakras. You see that? And the discrepancy, to understand the discrepancy and to put it in proper perspective, we have to begin by knowing that there are two basic traditions in India. So when you go and you begin to study Hinduism and Indian psychology and spirituality and yoga and so on, you have to understand that there are 2 very different traditions that have been merged, not integrated in an integral manner, but have been merged, into, what most people believe is one tradition, and therein, is the confusion. You see that? First of all, if you go to a very good, Hindu, dictionary, you see, you will learn that the word chakra is not, a psychic center as we believe. Chakra, the word chakra is really, a worship center. You see, meaning a circle involving the different elements in a particular meditation, system. Meaning that, if I'm going to, let's say, work on increasing my ability to perceive and think and behave holistically, okay, I will work on with the different factors that belong to what we call the Ajna circle of worship or spiritual cultivation or chakra. You see that? So this word chakra came into being, you see, with the second tradition in India. The first tradition in India, okay, goes back into prehistory, and it is composed, by, the so-called indigenous, original, people of India, which were Black people. We go to India today, we find that there are different complexions, from very, very dark people with woolly hair, as you find all over Africa, to light-skinned people that in some cases you might mistake for, Caucasian. You see that? The spiritual tradition in India, which is the origin of the Indian teachings, okay, is the Shramanic, Shramanic, Shramanic tradition. You see that? And that is the origin of the elements that go into this chakra, system. And in this Shramanic tradition, there were 10 major spiritual forces making up the spirit of man and 5 psychical faculties, meaning 15 in all. You see that? Actually, because of certain coalescence, it was 9 and 5, so 14 chakras. You see that? So the thing is that the 5 psychical chakras is what the invaders of India focused on. When the Aryan people, the Western people, invaded India around some 1200 BC, you see, they took the Shramanic, the black teachings, the original teachings of the composition of the psyche and the spirit. You see that? And because they were offended, they found offensive a spiritual system that gave preeminence to the female side of man's being. You see that? They replaced the original nomenclature and concepts of the original teachings. They replaced it with the idea of a chakra, meaning that before the Western people came to India, okay, Ajna, so-called chakra, and Guru, so-called chakra, and Manipur, and so on, okay, they were referred to as, deities, okay, meaning male deities and female deities, okay? The male aspect of the deity was really nothing else but a personification of spiritual principles, whereas the so-called female deities, goddesses, were personification, of the forces and the energies, meaning, in the original system of Indian teachings, the Shramanic teachings, the psyche of man, which is composed of 5 fundamental faculties, just like the Chinese 5 phases, 5 elements. You see that? Okay? And actually, and they correspond to each other. The Chinese, the Taoist 5 phases system that is verified by Chinese medicine coalesce with the 5, ideas or principles and forces of the psyche. You see that? So the thing is that when the Aryans came, they limited their study and practices to the 5 psychic principles that they call chakras, plus 2 of the spiritual, faculties, the Ajna and the Sahasrara. They left out the Guru chakra, the Nirvana chakra, the Lalita chakra, okay? They left out the Manas chakra, the Herit chakra, the Talu chakra, okay? The Nirvana chakra. You see, you can go and Google this, and if you search deeply enough, you will find that you will learn of the existence of these other chakras. And when you study them very carefully, especially in my book, Light on Kundalini Yoga, which I published about some 5-6 years ago, you will find that these are not minor chakras. As a matter of fact, they are the major chakras because they're the faculties that are the holders and the projectors of your spirituality. You see that? So, for example, for you to learn about the spiritual laws, you can learn it intuitively from the Guru chakra, okay, as well as from the Lalita chakra, which corresponds to Tehuti and Ma'at in the Kamitic, sister system of the Shramanic system of ancient India. Yes, the ancient Indian tradition was a sister tradition to the Kamitic tradition. You see that? The Potnateru, of ancient Egypt find its duplication in the Dasha Vidya system of Shramanic, ancient Indian spirituality. You see that? Dasha Vidyas means Dasha means 10 and Vidya means teaching, meaning that there are 10 intuitive, centers within your being that will teach you everything about your spirit, as well as provide the forces for you to achieve those goals. You see that? And when you approach the so-called system of chakra today, that is taught today, the so-called 7 chakras, you do not learn about these, centers of intuition with the forces to manifest the inner teachings. You see that? So, you see, man's behavior is composed primarily of three, you see, forces, three faculties. One is the psyche, which governs the working of the physiological mechanism, as well as the controller of your social environment, the so-called psychic powers. The other one is the spirit, okay, which houses the laws that once awakened will govern your life and make you behave in an orderly, harmonious manner. And the third one is the mind, the manas chakra, which is the verbal and imaginative intelligences within you that enable you to connect your spirit to your psyche. And this is the problem today, that people's psyche is not connected to their spirit. So the spirit is dormant, has no work to do. It cannot perform its work because the mind has been totally captivated by the psyche. Should be the other way around. You see that? Meaning that the mind should be captivated by the spirit and then transfer and transports guidance from the spirit into the psyche. And this was the teachings of the ancient Shramans, the so-called seers, the rishis. You see that? That tradition was destroyed and disbanded when the Western Aryans invaded and took over what is India today and what is Iran today as well. You see that? So, so the thing is, my beloved, is that you have these three, energy centers within you. One is the psyche, okay, which corresponds to all of those intuitions or instincts that you have, inherited from the animal, vegetable, and mineral kingdom to guide your life. You see that? Okay, there are a lot of things that you don't need to learn to be taught to do. And when we go, deeper into the earlier years and centuries and millennia of evolution, we find that the animals, they say, don't have to learn much. They come very much prepared to do what they have to do to survive. In the case of man, you say, you don't have to learn how to manage your physiology. You see that because it is done for you. The baby sucks as soon as it's put on the breast. You see that. Okay, you know how to eat and chew and swallow, and you cry when you need assistance and things of that nature. Okay, mankind develops social orders because of the heart centers within the Anahata chakra, as well as the other chakras, Manipura, and so on. So the thing is what we call chakras, they are sources of intuition and the forces to manifest those things that are thought from within your being. You see that? The problem is that today's popular system, teaching about the chakras, is controlled by people who did not learn about the distinction between the spiritual chakras and the psychical and mental chakras. You see that? So they cultivate the psychic chakra without the guidance of the spiritual chakras. So when you go to a book or on the internet and they talk about, Vishuddha chakra, Anahata chakra, Manipura chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, and so on, and the earth chakra, and so on. When you are taught these things, you are being given information about the lowest part of you without the benefit of the higher chakras that you need in order to cultivate and purify your psyche. So let's look at the Manipura chakra, which is the so-called solar plexus chakra. The Manipura chakra, is what enables you to apply yourself to, conquering your personal, I mean, not your personal, your social environment. People with a very strong developed Manipura chakra, these are the people that are the social leaders, captains of industries, and things of that nature. The problem is that if your Manipura chakra is fully developed without the assistance and guidance from the spiritual chakras, meaning Ajna, Nirvana, Lalita, and so forth, if you don't have these higher spiritual centers governing your Manipura chakra, okay, you become, an autocrat, a dictator. You become a person who has the power, to conquer and drive other people and control other people and the social environment without the proper moral guardrails. The moral guardrails comes from the spiritual chakra. So if you've been studying about the chakras and nobody told you about, what is the purpose of the Ajna chakra, okay, which is the so-called goddess Tara. You see that? Okay, and the so-called God, Vishnu. You see that? These chakras, okay, are really the centers through which you learn to perceive holistically, where you learn to unite yourself to others and the world and to God. That